So, if you guys are like me, you're probably a nurse right now and you're asking yourself if it's even worth it, or you're thinking about going to nursing school and you're also thinking if it's even worth it at the end of the day. Hopefully, at the end of this video, you'll get your answer. But essentially, today we're going to talk about 5 things that I wish I knew before I became a nurse. I'm sorry, I just got distracted by my nails. But yeah, that's what we're going to talk about. So the first thing on the list is ratios. We're going to talk about the fact that sometimes the ratios will not be in your favor. Okay. Ratios are also dependent on whether or not you're on a med-surg floor, maybe an ICU floor, LND, a step-down unit, whichever. I'm on a step-down unit, and essentially we're supposed to get at least 3 patients. Up until recently, I was getting like 5 patients, and my step-down nurses can attest to the fact that a lot of these step-down patients are not true step-down patients. They're actually ICU patients. So a 5 patient or even a 4 patient ratio is, to be honest, a little bit too much. It's way too hectic. The problem with this was that a lot of us on my unit, we would escalate it to management and we're like, hey, like, we don't really think this is safe. Can they go to the ICU? And they would just look at the guidelines, and they'll tell us that the patient is more appropriate for IMC than they are for ICU. Then they come to the unit, and then we have to be doing bedside intubations and things of that sort. And I'm saying bedside intubation because that actually did happen. Or you get a patient who is severely hypotensive, maybe they're asymptomatic, and then at the end of the night they pass because some of these doctors treat a DNR as a do not treat. And I'm pretty sure we all know that that's not what that means, but ratios is definitely one of the things that you want to keep an eye out for. If you're a nursing student and you're thinking about going onto a step-down unit, I personally think that it is an excellent place to start. It could be neuro step-down, it could be tele step-down, it could be like medicine step-down, or it could be like CV step-down, because to be honest, you're going to get an entirety of a lot of things. Yes, CV step-down is more so relative to like post-op cardiac procedures, but on the flip side, like, you still get a good amount of stuff. Let's say if a patient is not able to go to another unit, another step down, then there'll most likely be an overflow for the CV. So just in case. So yes, that's majority, but it's still not limited to what you may be able to see there. But needless to say, if you are a nursing student and you're thinking about going into nursing school or becoming a nurse, I do think that a step-down floor is a perfect unit for you to start at, because you do get a multitude of different things, different scenarios. Essentially, there isn't one way to do one thing or to fix the patient, for lack of better words. So in terms of getting a variety of things, like being able to exercise the med-surg or the critical thinking part of nursing, I do think that floor would be perfect. It can be a little bit much, and there are facilities that give you up to, just like I said a while ago, like 5-6 patients in a step-down unit. That is not okay. Okay, that is not the norm. You're supposed to have at least 3 patients. Maybe not 2, because if the patient requires a 2-patient assignment, then that means that they need to be upgraded to the ICU. But we all know a lot of these facilities don't follow these guidelines. So number 2 is going to be the fact that a lot of these hospitals will play in your face, especially when it comes to pay. So at a facility that I previously worked at, I came in, I think, at like 2 years. I believe it was 2 years. So I came in at 2 years, and at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm being compensated very well. And then recently I found out that there's someone else that, and of course that person is a man, there's someone else that has the same experience that I do, and he's getting at least $7 more than what my base pay is. And automatically I'm like, now, of course, I can sit here and I can assume a multitude of things. I could be like, 1, it's probably because it's a man. 2, it's probably because of race, because of where the hospital is. But I don't want to assume anything. So that would leave me in a position to go ahead and address it with HR. And if they don't want to fix it, then I would essentially be on my way out, because at that point it's like it's on paper that there's a discrepancy for the person that has the same amount of experience that I do. So essentially, make sure that you get from these facilities what you think you're worth. At this point, because of the area that I'm at right now, some facilities will lowball you because of the name of the hospital. And then there are other facilities that will say that they do or they did a market analysis, but in reality, they really didn't. They're just throwing out numbers at this point. Or they have people that work in their HR department that are purposely lowballing people to get them in. And then at the end of the day, they flip the script and they're like, yeah, well, by the way, we're going to switch it to this. So just be on your P's and Q's in terms of that, and never fully commit to a facility. Even if it works for you in that moment in time, just make sure that you have plans, like even 9-month plan, 8 months, 6 months, whatever, like at least a year plan of what you're going to do afterwards, because I promise you, something is going to happen that's going to tick you off, and you're probably going to be like, yo, I need to go ASAP. Number 3 is going to be the fact that you should keep your mouth shut. I have had like countless interactions with this one particular statement. And it's more so going to be about the fact that there are going to be people around you that are intimidated by you, that see greatness in you that you may not even have seen in yourself at that time. Case in point, when I was in the ICU, I'm there, I'm minding my business. It's in the height of COVID, so a lot of us, we were wearing our mask and everything. And I was in the CV ICU, and essentially they switched me to CV step down from the CV ICU. Some people know, some people may not know, but the demographic in any ICU, any highly regarded specialty is always not me. I'm going to put it that way. It's not me. So I found out essentially afterwards that one, they had already extended my orientation. So I'm like, okay, like I'm good. Like I had already worked on my schedule and all of that. And then afterwards, I found out that they switched me from there to the CV step down. That's basically after I logged into the portal and I saw that they put in the application before they even had me. They put in the application before they had me like make my schedule and all of that. So I'm like, why did you guys have me make the schedule if that was the intention? But anyway, in the midst of that, I was talking to the preceptor that I had there, and I was like, hey, like, what do you think that I could have done differently? Like, I felt like I was doing okay, but what could I have done differently? And she basically asked me at one point, like, hey, why are you in the ICU? Mind you, this is a Black woman, but this particular person is from France. And in my experience, a lot of people from those countries, even though they're Black, they don't necessarily consider themselves Black. I don't know. That's how it goes. But I told her that I wanted to go to anesthesia school, and that's where I messed up, because I should have kept my mouth shut. And she wasn't the first person that I said it to. I've said it to other people as well. So needless to say, shut up. If they ask you why you're in the ICU, why you want to come to the ICU, just be like, oh, I don't know. I just want to, challenge myself a little bit. Even if you know that that's a lie, if you got to fib a little bit, do that to protect yourself, to protect your peace, to protect your aspirations, because you may go ahead and say it and you may think that, okay, I'm young, you're very impressionable, like they're going to be very proud of you, da-da-da. Baby, no. Like, even some of these older nurses are very intimidated by some of these younger nurses that come in. And for what reason, I don't know. But how I look at it is that they had the same opportunities that I had, or that I have. Like, you were once 24, 25, 26 at one point. So you also could have gone to CRNA school. You also could have, set out those goals and aspirations for yourself, versus you coming around and you trying to see me or stop me from go that far, because you see something in me that I may not see in myself at that point in time. Like, just keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut. That's it. Just shut up. I'm probably saying it a little harsh right now, but just shut up. I promise you, you're gonna thank me later. Just shut up. Don't tell nobody your business unless it's somebody that you're like die hard like this with. Don't say nothing to these people at all. Don't say nothing to your preceptor. Just literally be a sponge, absorb everything that they're teaching you, because at the end of the day, it's only gonna help you. At the end of the day, they cannot take away anything that they put or instilled up here. As long as it benefits you, then that's it. You're good. The fourth one is going to be the fact that it's okay to cry. What date is it? It is November 19th, 2024. It is 7:28 p.m. right now on a Tuesday. I cried a couple days ago after work. I was in my car and my boyfriend was on the phone and he was like, "How was work?" And I just started crying. I'm like, I'm just tired. I just bit my cheek. I'm like, I'm just tired. Like, I don't know. Like, it's not supposed to be like this. Like, I just kept saying that. And the truth is that a lot of us had a misconception of what the nursing field really was going to be like. And I think that's more so because of what we see on social media. Like, right now, especially because of COVID, like, nursing is very glamorized. Not a lot of people come out and they're like, yo, like, this is really what happens. Of course, we can pick up a shift if we got bills due, or if we want to go on a trip, or we can stack our days so we can go on our trips. But believe me when I tell you that that doesn't even come close to what the true reality of nursing is. Like, there are days when it is so mentally taxing that you got to sit and ask yourself if you want to walk out and say F these patients right now. That's how bad it gets sometimes. Like, you've been walking around so much, like, walking up and down the entire unit. And at the end of the day, someone still has the audacity to be like, oh, this person didn't do, my nurse didn't do this. I haven't seen my nurse all day. Even if you went in there and you did what you had to do, you walked out, and maybe that person wasn't as critical, or you were stuck with the person that was the sickest in your group, it still don't matter to them. It really is a thankless job. It really is. If you're ready for that, nursing is for you. If that's not going to bother you, nursing is for you. But if that bothers you, then I would say or advise you to choose another route, because there's going to be a lot of that. Or you could go the route of choosing a specialty where you don't necessarily have to do that. Then I feel like it makes a little bit more of a sense to do that. One thing I would say is that I felt like there's a lot of lack in knowledge in terms of specialties in the nursing school, like in the nursing school setting, because they definitely didn't tell us that aesthetic nursing was a thing. They definitely did tell us that there is a life outside of bedside nursing. Like, I'm basically figuring that out right now as I feel drained, as I feel burnt out. I'm the one that has to figure that out right now. But that's not introduced to us when we're in nursing school. Like, hey, this is the reality of it. And mind you, these nurses or the professors that we had were nurses that were no longer at the bedside. But no one was actually saying, hey, this is why I'm not at the bedside. And honestly, I feel like I would have preferred it if they were forthcoming to say, hey, this is what can go wrong. And not necessarily wrong, but this is what you should expect when you graduate and you go to nurse and you go to work at the bedside. But instead, they were here telling people to look at each other in class and ask yourself if you would want any of them to be nurses, be your nurse. But I digress. The fifth one is the fact that emotional burnout is a thing, and this basically kind of piggybacks on what I said before. I didn't know I was an emotional person until I came into nursing. Like, I'm having to take myself out of the setting and just sit somewhere, just close the door, go into the bathroom or something, and just breathe. Because, baby, like, if it's not the patient or the family member coming at you for stuff, and some of them, honestly, like, some facilities are like, yeah, we don't tolerate any violence, but I'm not gonna lie. Some of us nurses are left out because They say that, but at the end of the day, when something happens, they're just standing there like this. And I'm like, you have a whole policy on that. But anyway, um, when it comes to emotional burnout, you'll probably sit there thinking that you have your shit together, you have your shit checked, but it's gonna creep up on you. And I don't want to jinx anything, but I'm just saying that based off of my experience, right? Like, I I feel like personally it's to the point now for me where even though I'm here, I'm present for my patients, it still kind of feels draining at the end of the day. Um, that happened to me like the first time, like my first nursing job, and I'm like, yo, I need to go. And one, I feel like it's a lot of overstimulation. It could be from the overstimulation in the workplace. Two, as I said, it's a thankless job, so that could also be a relative factor to it as well. Three, um, I just feel like I'm to the point now where I want to do other things, and I feel like nursing is limiting me from doing that or restricting me from doing that. Don't get me wrong. This is a very good career to be in, but if you're somebody that it's like free thinking, like very creative, like you're used to doing certain things at a certain time, or you may be, I don't know, like you may be used to like please and thank you, like just those simple things, just those simple gestures, then it may take a toll on you, because it's definitely been taking a toll on me. Definitely been. If it's not emotional burnout, it could be physical, it could be the mental part of it. Like it there are some days that are so bad that you gotta sit and ask yourself, like, yo, why did I do this to myself? Like I could be on a pole right now. Like, I'm joking. I'm really not, but like that's literally how I thought about it when I was in nursing school. Like, if I don't want to do this right now, I dead ass could just be a stripper, call it a day. But then again, I don't like people feeling on me like that. So that wasn't gonna work out anyway. So I guess my only option was nursing. Funny enough, I literally have MCAT books downstairs right now in my basement, because when I was in college, I was actually pre-med and I was going to go to medical school and all of that. Went to Howard University and I switched because I'm like, yo, what if, that what if statement. What if I don't get into nursing? What if I don't get into med school? What am I going to do next? So I literally just switched to nursing as like a backup plan. But on the flip side, now that I am a nurse, I'm still at the bedside and I'm still working alongside doctors. I'm getting a lot of these doctors telling me, yo, if I could do it all over again, I probably would just be a CRNA. That's it. Like, I'm seeing some of these doctors just stressed out, literally just stressed out. And then I'm also learning that a lot of these doctors, they have, I think it's a quota per month that they have to meet in terms of like who gets discharged or how many discharges they have and all of that. I'm like, I beg your pardon. And from what I've seen is that some people get discharged and they're not necessarily ready to be discharged. I'm like, that is so inappropriate. But when I learned that, I'm like, oh, that's why. It's like, it's not like they want to discharge them essentially, but they kind of have to discharge them because of one, the hospital, two, because of how the hospital gets paid, three, if the diagnosis is not critical enough subjectively, then they gotta go. Baby, listen, just stay home. Just stay in the gym. That's it. Take care of yourself. Again, if you're in nursing school, if you want to be a nurse, please don't let my video deter you. I just want to say my piece on the fact that nursing may not necessarily be what it is portrayed to be in the limelight right now, like on social media, because yes, there is money in it, but there is stress. There are stressors that come along with that. Like, I'm 27 with gray hairs, baby. Like, come on. I'm 27 with gray hairs. Nursing school, I was good. As soon as I became a nurse, I think like 23, 24, them things popped up. No. Mm-mm. I always tell myself, like, knowing now, if I knew then what I know now, I probably would have chosen a different career path. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I probably would have chosen something different. Because this ain't it. This ain't it. But that's it. I just wanted to let y'all know the 5 things that I wish I knew before I became a nurse. If those 5 things are things that you can resonate with, then please comment below and tell me your thoughts and everything. If something relates to you, or if you have an opinion about something, just comment below and let me know what's up. Other than that, again, my name is Monique, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.